SoCal real estate numbers are changing, and we're going to show you exactly how and tell you why. Hey there, Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates. We are real estate brokers based in Southern California who specialize in helping landlords and tenants, buyers and sellers in California and beyond. And we're here with a big update. We're halfway through November. We've got our half monthly update coming your way, and there's some big changes, and we can't wait to show you exactly what's happening. We're going to talk about how things should be this time of year normally. We're going to talk about some of the headwinds the market has right now and some growing headwinds to watch out for. We're going to give you market updates for single family and multifamily in Los Angeles and Orange County. And we're going to give you October foreclosure numbers for LA, San Diego, and Orange County. And we're going to show you what it looked like in the previous bust for foreclosure numbers. Crazy, crazy. Before we dive into the data like we do, first let's talk about the headwinds. What are things that are causing the real estate market to potentially change in Southern California, all of California and beyond? The first major one is the increase in COVID numbers, and we're seeing these numbers get crazy yet again. Orange County just went into the purple. I know most of Southern California is in the purple now. So things are getting worse with COVID-19. So this is going to act as a headwind. Now, the good news is this time we've already adapted. We know how to sell real estate, but it could be just that extra excuse for sellers to decide not to sell or buyers to decide not to buy. One extra layer on top of the usual time of year things that we'll discuss. And this will lead into number two, which is unemployment. We've seen the unemployment numbers improve. They are not great. Let's be perfectly honest about that. But they've been doing slightly better, kind of moving up and down. Being back in purple, things are not going to look good for unemployment. The hospitality and service sector is going to be decimated yet again, just as they were getting back on their feet. Number three, another big thing we're looking at is the non-payment of mortgages. We know a lot of people have taken advantage of forbearance. There's just over 3 million loans that are not being paid in the United States, and that includes those under forbearance and those who have not yet elected for forbearance. What's important is that if you can't pay your mortgage, according to the CARES Act, you have until December 31st to enroll. So we are seeing that that is set to expire at the end of this year. Now, that doesn't mean that folks in forbearance are automatically done with it. It's still a system where you get 6 months with another extension of another 6 months. So that's what we're keeping an eye on, is how many people are going into forbearance, how many are exiting forbearance, and what those total numbers look like. It's important to note, back in the previous bust, the numbers were 3 times. There were 3 times as many folks not paying their mortgage, or about 10 million folks not paying, versus what we have right now. So that's what led to huge issues back 2008, 2009, 2010. Right now, we're not at those numbers, and hopefully we don't get there. Number four, the other big headwind and the thing we're tracking is non-payment of rent due to COVID-19. So we've done a series on AB 3088, which is specifically for California landlords and how to handle this non-payment of rent and what tenants need to do. And then throughout the rest of the United States, there's the CDC eviction moratorium. The CDC eviction moratorium expires December 31st unless it's extended. AB 3088 in California offers protection through January 31st, 2021 to those folks who can't pay rent due to COVID-19. What do these numbers look like for non-payment of rent? Well, the Federal Reserve Bank in Philadelphia crunched numbers for the nation. I'll give you the California numbers. There are over 240,000 renters that are behind on rent. The average renter in California is behind about $7,000. This totals $1.7 billion that tenants haven't been able to pay and that landlords haven't received. So this is a big, big deal, and we will continue to track this number. Ultimately, this could lead to landlords not being able to pay their mortgages and lead to bigger issues as well. Well, hello there. It's time to go through the data again, 2 weeks into November, and we've got some big stuff to show you. Can't wait. But let me first get out of the way. Here we go. So Orange County, you're going to see that the market has returned to normal. And what do I mean by normal? It actually looks like to the first 2 weeks in November of just about any year, you can see going back. Now the sales are high, that reflects escrows in the past, and we've had an excessive number of escrows, so that's why that's so high. But now look at the escrows. We're up just a little bit, nowhere near what it was like in October. So this first 2 weeks in November, it's looking a lot more similar to a typical November, and we'll see that running through the data as we discuss. Look at the massive drop in new listings. That literally, if you just pick these 2 weeks out, and as you can see, as you compare them, there's almost no difference to any other time in years past. The good news is you can see properties going into escrow exceeded the new listings. So those people out there buying right now, they're still going to be dealing with bidding wars. There's still going to be multiple offers. Los Angeles is a similar tale. The escrows have dropped and the new listings have significantly dropped to more of a typical year. Why did listings drop? So there's several reasons why. We had a lot going on this time of year. This was an election year. We had fires, and the fires affected both Orange County and LA with air quality. Those things were big distractions. Plus, this time of year, we're getting into the holiday season, and it's natural for sales to drop. So you can see it does look like we're trending down. Is this bad news? Is the market falling apart? No, not necessarily. We'll track the data and see, but it doesn't necessarily mean the market's falling apart. Multifamily, as we've said before, we'll have to say again, a tale of two markets. You can see listings have dropped, escrows are like any other year, sales are like any other year. So the good news is it's recovered. It's not down like it was for so many months. This year for multifamily, we're not going to make up lost sales like we will most likely for single family. It may look by the end of the year like any other normal single family year by the time you add in the huge increase in sales. But you can see, same thing for LA. We have a big drop in listings, which is good. We don't want it too far out of whack. Looks like a normal listing year, maybe even a little low. Escrows are low. So escrows in LA are low. Don't forget, in Los Angeles, they're dealing with an eviction moratorium that is more stringent than AB 3088. So that's making it tougher for investors to want to purchase properties, especially because of the number of folks in California not paying, and it's concentrated in LA. And there's also this eviction moratorium also prevents rent increases, which isn't wrong. We shouldn't be increasing rents, but it prevents that as well. So that is a look at the multifamily numbers. Let's dive in now to the foreclosure numbers, and no real surprises here. We are just way down. And what I do want to point out on this is let's compare what we see now to what we saw during the bust. And you can see, look at the notice of trustee sale in Orange County, 31. Now we're way down. What this reflects is the notice of default, which is about 120 days after missing a payment. That's folks, because this is October data, that's folks missing payments in May or June. If the bank moved forward with a notice of default, which you can see the low numbers, they didn't. Notice of trustee sale, that's 120 plus 90. So what that reflects is a date of February or March. So that's pre-pandemic, the notices of trustee sale. So it does not yet reflect the pandemic in the notice of trustee sale. Those are way down. Many were suspended during the pandemic. But if you want to create a 40 or 50% drop in values, that's how you do it way over there in 2009. You have 4,500 notices of trustee sale. That's how you get to a market where you have extreme inventory, extreme price drops. So remember, this is 1 month that we're talking about. This is just October. You see these numbers. Same thing in San Diego. You can see big numbers. Notice the trustee sale way down, but then you look over in 2009, you see almost 2,000. So that's how you create extreme drops in prices. We do know we have some foreclosures to pick up. We're way behind. We do know that some of the folks in forbearance are not going to make it out and may sell or lose their homes. A lot of those people have equity, unlike back in 2009. So that will be a different story this time. This is a tale of how you create big price drops. We have not yet seen it in the foreclosure data to show when we're going to have enough inventory to create big price drops in Southern California. There is a chance, but it is not in the foreclosure data now. So what do you think of those numbers? Can you believe that? What do you think is leading to the change in the market? Leave some comments below. I want to hear your opinion. I'm going to run through a few things that I think is leading to the change. Number one is it's the season. It's the time of year where folks have a lot of other things to do. We see sales drop because we've got the holidays coming up. And even with the limited engagements and limited getting together, people still want to enjoy the holidays, whether it's a Zoom's giving, as I've heard others say, but people want to enjoy the holidays and focus on that. Number two is the election. The election was a big deal, not quite over. Hopefully it will be soon, but that uncertainty certainly isn't helping as well. So we also had fires, and I mentioned it in the data. In the last week of October and going into November a little bit, we had to worry about, well, areas that were evacuated, plus air quality issues that were farther from those areas that were evacuated. So while we were going through that, I know it put a pinch on some of the housing numbers. The other thing that's happening is when you have multiple offer situations, buyers get tired. So buyer fatigue. I've done videos of talking about whether to buy now or not. And in that video, there's comments where people say, hey, I'm done, I'm giving up. We submitted 3-4 offers. There were 20 on each property we lost. So buyer fatigue can lead to a slowdown. And then as for drop in new listings, if sellers can't find a place to go, they're not going to want to sell. So as inventory tightens up, it can actually become like a self-fulfilling prophecy where it continues to tighten for a while. But I wouldn't be worried about this right now. Again, I think because of the time of year and the holidays, COVID-19 leading to some tightening up, I wouldn't be too worried. I think we're going to come into 2021. Hopefully we'll be a little refreshed from, quite frankly, an exhausting year on so many levels. And I see us getting into a normal year, 2021, with a normal sales curve. So hopefully you found this update helpful. Make sure you hit that like button if you liked it. Make sure you leave some comments below. I want to know what you're seeing out there in the market. So don't forget that our email newsletter subscribers are going to get copies of these charts and data. So make sure you subscribe below. We have a link where you can sign up for that. We hope you found this helpful. We're going to keep these updates coming every 2 weeks so you can see where the market's headed. As a subscriber to my newsletter and my channel, you're among the first who's actually seeing the market slow and the market heat up before anybody else, because we are together tracking the data so closely. So keep tuning in for that, because just as we're seeing things slow a little bit, we're going to be together on the cutting edge when things start to pick up again as well. Thank you again. We will give you our next update after Thanksgiving. We hope you have an amazing, amazing holiday. Enjoy your time with whoever you do and can spend it with. It's been a tough year, but I'm truly thankful for you. Please have a happy and safe Thanksgiving holiday.